It's you, Scorpio. Welcome to your Scorpio July 2021 reading and forecast. I'm Nigel Saint James, for those of you who are just stopping by for the first time, and for the subscribers, much love and affection to you. Great to see you always. I always look forward to the pleasure of your company. Well, what are we going to do this month? Now, look, I've got this deck. It's from an independent artist. I'm just trying to remember where she was. I don't think she's got any more. It was done some time ago. I got this some time ago. She might have been in San Francisco, I think. I can't remember the girl's name. But I was just doing some work for a client earlier using this deck, and it is particularly good. So let's draw 5 cards, because 5 is all we need, don't we? And don't you think you and I have found that? Because it's jam-packed full of information whenever we pull them. And there is the Ace of Cups. Well, what a fantastic card to get first up. There's the King of Discs. There's the 9 of Discs. Lots of discs. Gee, the artwork is... She did a good job on the paintings. You know, beautifully hand-painted the stuff, not a computer thing, you know. 7 of Cups. And what's this one here? Love. Ah, that's a great card for you. Now, why don't you come, as is our usual practice, come down, sit down next to me. We'll have a good close look at these cards together while I do the reading for you. There now, can you see? I'm going to do... What's going on with this card here? Let me have a look at this one first up. This is the 7 of Cups. Let's have a closer look at it, shall we? What an interesting painting this is. Well, the woman depicted under here, she is collapsed under the weight of her own cups, which spill profusely onto her. Her fish protects her from drowning, but she still holds on everlastingly to her staff that carries the cups. I think this is an expression of the dangers of delusion. The danger of romantic love is ambition. One of the hopes of... Well, once the hopes of one individual become brighter than reality, desire becomes an imposition, really, and consent can be destroyed. The lover can sink into manipulation, clinging, and escape into illusion. The danger of drowning in that situation is very clear. Now, this is coming up because you've got this Ace of Cups in front of it. Now, what is the issue here? Well, let me turn to the astrology of it for a moment for you. And what I have is, well, in the position that it's in here, it is Venus ruling the 3rd decan of Scorpio, the 13th to the 22nd of November. Now, Venus, as you know, is the planet of love. And Scorpio, as you would be well aware, is very often about intensity, about in-depth transformation and exploration of the self and others. Now, there's the number 7 here, and I have a mystical association with Venus there as well. Venus is attached to that. Venus. So Venus in the numerology and Venus ruling Scorpio. Well, Venus doesn't really have any handbrake applied here. And so she goes, she's a planet of love and beauty, love in particular. She goes unchecked. And the other thing is that Venus is astrologically in detriment in Scorpio. So she can't express her sensitivity and emotions properly. Instead, they can be channeled into negative addictions and intensity, which is the darker side of Scorpio, has to be said. It implies that if we indulge in excess reactive behavior due to something that has affected us deeply and changed us in a way which throws up its own set of problematic issues, then we can be thrown off course. We can be thrown off course. Now, I'm not saying that this necessarily is you, but you may recognize that we can sometimes indulge in addictive emotions which don't necessarily represent our own highest good, and that can result in things like overeating, like eating 2 tubs of ice cream, or over-drinking. Drugs can sometimes turn into promiscuity. Nothing against sex, I'm just saying it. It can indicate negative thoughts or depression, which are self-medicated by excesses in those things that I just mentioned. And negative patterns of behavior can turn up relating to sex, diet, alcohol, and drugs. Now, it calls you to recognize that, when these occasions arise, that you may have lost control over your circumstances and that it is producing damaging lifestyle choices. You need to get back to who you are and recognize that things are troubling you and regain your personal power. And very often this comes about in romance and love. It could be a time to open your eyes and take a look at, perhaps a painful reality. Only by perceiving, by recognizing your own inner reality, will you be freed. Every further attempt to avoid it increases the stagnation of your emotional energy. The thing is here that this represents the working of Venus in the sphere of the mind, where her influence is by no means clear-sightedness. Sometimes we can believe what we want to believe when we are under the influence of Venus. Is there some disappointment you have not yet worked out? Have you experienced something that was perhaps just a little bit too good? Have you maybe overtaxed yourself or overdone things in any way? Look, say this to yourself, and you'll understand this better than anybody else. As I recognize and accept my shadows, they lose their power over me. Now, the thing which throws us off course most often is love. That's certainly what I've found in my life. But I'll say this: when love beckons to you, follow him, though his ways are hard and steep, and when his wings enfold you, yield to him, though the knife hidden among his feathers may wound you. And when he speaks to you, believe in him, though his voice may shatter your dreams, just as the north wind lays waste the garden. For even as love crowns you, so shall he crucify you. Even as he is for your growth, so is he for your pruning. Even as he ascends to your height and caresses your tenderest branches that quiver in the sun, so shall he descend to your roots and shake them in their clinging to the earth. Like sheaves of corn he gathers you unto himself. He threshes you to make you naked. He sifts you to free you from your husks. He grinds you to whiteness. He kneads you until you are pliant. And then he assigns you to his sacred fire, that you may become sacred bread for God's sacred feast. Love gives nothing but itself, and it takes nothing except from itself. Love possesses not, nor would it be possessed. For love is sufficient unto love. And when you love, you shouldn't say, God is in my heart, but rather, I am in the heart of God. And don't think that you can direct the course of love, for love, if it finds you worthy, it directs your course up, down, inside, and out. But look, don't be downcast, because here is the Ace of Cups, right? Things spring new, eternal. Things come through again, and there is great opportunity here. Now, what's this painting say? Well, as the first flusher of an emotion, the ace depicts a woman astride her fish, beautifully commingling with it. In fact, a mermaid, I suppose, and a woman at once. Now, what I'll say here is that in this case, this woman can't separate herself from her emotion. She identifies with it entirely. Wouldn't even know who she was without it, is what I'd say. Rather than recognizing a feeling as a transient state of being, under which a coherent identity remains, like the earth beneath the sea, this woman's feelings define her, fitting her into its own grand story: love, fear, fury, pride. She is a conduit for the concept of emotion and acts out of her, well, she really acts out her part purely through expressing feeling. Ego is as yet unformed. Now, esoterically, from my point of view, I refer to this as the Lord of the root of powers of water, and the people who are important during this period are Scorpio. You see, you're all over this spread. It's not a coincidence. I think Sagittarius is going to be important to you as well, and so is Libra. Now, the cup suit embodies the experience of relationships, the pursuit of happiness, love, fulfillment, pleasure. But of course, we can't have the experience of any of those things without the opposite, can we? This is talking about love in its purest sense, abundance, perhaps a new relationship or the deepening of an existing relationship. Certainly sensual passion is getting something around here. In fact, that could be undertaken physically or that could be undertaken in a fantasy life is what I'm seeing here. Emotional balance is available to be used and drawn upon by you for at least 6 months to come. This is particularly good for romantic endeavors, but it's also good for partnerships in business. It's very good for people in sales, and it may also be good for people who are in a social environment. The cup of unconditional love from the divinity is being offered to you, so will you drink from it now? There's the good opportunity here for new relationships, and I have to say, for new romance, or, as I have said, for the deepening of a committed partnership. Now, can indicate a birth. This card represents unconditional love, and so you should also give and forgive unconditionally to get inner peace. You are now in contact with all-embracing love. It fills you and you can pass it on generously, lavishly to others. What is your way of expressing love? Let this card here just work on you for a moment. It's fascinating, I find, the way an image can imprint itself into your subconscious. Feel yourself as an open channel for the divine energy, and say to yourself, all-encompassing love fills me and my environment. Well, while we are on the subject of love, why don't we have a look at this major arcana, love here. Quite interesting. Now, here we see really what I suppose are two angels that are joined. See the one body joined together but two separate individuals? And this is the tree of life here, and the flowers coming down in the shape of mandalas. Mandalas are usually used in Tibetan Buddhism, but in Buddhism generally. But they don't just have to be that. They're items, patterns upon which one focuses their thought or falls into in a mental capacity while in prayer or meditation. Now, this is what I call the children of the voice divine, the oracle of the mighty gods. It's Mercury ruling well, this is unusual for astrologers because I don't normally say that the nodes of the moon have any rulers or exalted, but I see Mercury ruling what's called dragons, Mercury ruling Gemini rather, with dragon's head, or the north node of the moon exalted. So Mercury ruling Gemini. So I think what you're going to be doing here is there's the need for you to look at all angles before making a decision. You could find that you are a mediator or a peacemaker, and there's the need to look at harmony in relationships. I think you may also find that you are making a major life choice on the direction ahead of you. Now, it may not appear to be a major life choice at the time that you make it, but nevertheless, this may turn out to be that. There could well be a mutual attraction going on here as well, so don't be concerned about this thing here. Mutual attraction. Now, I'm getting sexual connection, but again, this is a major arcana, so I don't see it as being something like a one-night stand. There is attraction, approaching things, connection, union of opposites through love, becoming conscious through relationship, choices, being at a crossroads, could well be going into a project or business with somebody else. You may find that you're falling in love or even falling deeper in love with someone that you are, because there's commitment around here. Maybe for somebody, I see here, there is the choosing between two lovers. Now, what I also see here is that you will have an extraordinary gift in dealing with people of all ages and an acute understanding of paradox, of opposition, polarities. Yeah. A relationship may be a method by which you actually get some personal growth going on here. Do you know, if you're not already a therapist, I think you'd make a good therapist, as I think that you have during this period. You'll have a very good insight into what is going on in other people's headspace. Now, relationships could be an issue. It's a time for deepening of some of the relationships, and I've got to tell you, it is, however, the time for pruning off of relationships. It's a time for marriage, and it's a time for divorce. Now, drawing this card may indicate a wonderful and exciting love relationship. Current relationships either deepen or they end. New methods for personal growth and integration of your own opposing aspects present themselves as you turn towards and interact, with a partner or with a group. What do you seek in the people you love? What comprises a fulfilling relationship for you? Say to yourself, I enjoy working with people of all ages. I have inherent people skills. I am emotionally sure about what I need or what I don't need or want in a relationship. I am now ready to meet the partner I have always longed to meet, and I'm now going to be even more open to the committed partner that I have. Now, let's have a look at this thing. Oh, this indicates some quite good news here for you, this 9 of discs. Let's have a look at it and see what it has to say for you. Again, a fascinating painting. Now, this woman appears beneath the falling flower, as though to catch its dropping petals. Nothing is lost in the end. The accumulation of experience and work and learning and the choices we make during our lives is the accomplishment of all our ambitions, and it can be used to build a new world, one that fits us and our community more closely. Now, the horse that's in this painting has grown wings. Biological life may sometimes transcend itself and create real change in the outer world, which others may benefit from. This card carries the possibility of leadership, of service to a larger good. But that's not all it does. It is what I call the Lord of Material Gain. It is Venus in the second decan of Virgo. Now, Venus, as I may have mentioned before, is concerned with love and with money. And these are both expressions of your values, your pleasures, your tastes, and so on, aren't they? Wouldn't you be mad if they weren't? Well, Venus is saying that if your heart is pure and you follow your heart, your life can only gain from this, and good fortune will attend your material affairs. This is speaking to me of growth, gain, bonded by love, wisdom. The phrase, the more I give, the more I receive, is coming up. Reward for effort is coming here, realizing your goals. Financial, moving steps towards financial and personal independence. There's the foundations of material security being built and self-sufficiency. Projects, situations, and relationships are going to produce some good standard of living gain for you. You're going to start moving ahead. Now, this isn't wealth, but it's better than what was there before. The highest task life sets for us is to realize ourselves. This happens in carrying out the special tasks assigned to each of us. Retreating from your life's tasks out of fear or a desire to remain, in inverted commas, comfortable, means denying yourself. Gain comes from giving willingly and lovingly. Giving in this sense means also giving yourself to the universe. And you are the universe. You're alive. You're made up of bits of the universe, molecules and atoms and things. You are the universe. The cosmic law of wealth is hereby fulfilled. The more I give, the more I receive. Now, if your knowledge and creativity are filled with love, you will gain from all situations in life. The more deeply you are engaged, the more comprehensive your insights will be. Now, do you actually know what is the highest goal in your life and how you are going to get there step by step? And check carefully whether that which you call gain is actually in full harmony with your ultimate goal. And say this to yourself at this time. Everything that happens today serves my growth. The more I give, the more I receive. Now, we go, I think it is finally, isn't it? Yes, to this fellow who is the what? The King of Discs. Ah, that makes sense. And I'll tell you why it makes sense now. Because the King of Discs is, well, I get a lot of Virgo around him, so that's going to be important to you. And a lot of Leo, so that's going to be important to you as well. Now, why Virgo, you say? Well, that's because the first two decanates, 0 to 10 degrees and 10 degrees to 20 degrees, they are ruled by the Sun and Venus, respectively, in Virgo. Now, the King of Discs is the lord of the wild and fertile land. And so he's about growth and the abundance of nature. And the sun is required for crops and plant life. And the nurturing qualities of Venus only complement this. Now, in essence, this is all about invoking the spirits of the earth for a plentiful harvest, metaphorically for you. Now, as a person, this could be somebody of the land that you know. Maybe that Virgo or Leo, maybe someone else. But I think that you will find that you are patient, a hard worker, very clever during this period. The character of this person is exceedingly complex, yet very well knit. At best, the person can be quite romantic and imaginative. And look, these court cards can be of either gender, I might say at the outset, even though they're presented as a king, it can be a woman. And as I say, the person can be, appear romantic and be romantic and imaginative, but they have an overbearing ambition sometimes, and they can be quite superstitious. And sometimes, it has to be said, they can spend time on idle dreaming. Now, I think he indicates a person who works with instinct at the moment. Now, I know that you're very intelligent, but he is a guy who gets through using just work ethic. And so though you have a fine mind, this is not the month to be over-intellectualizing things, but it's more about relying on your work ethic, about head down, tail up in order to get things to happen. Because he's not an intellectual. He uses his work ethic to get things done. Actually, be careful of workaholism during this period, because I don't think he takes much of an interest in anything outside of work, this guy. And he has a deep connection with the Mother Earth. Look, I think that now is the time to set your abilities to work in service of some kind. The tasks before you are large and demand the use of all your powers. If you make the effort, the harvest will reward you richly. You are going to be rewarded, as this has said. So this is the time to be doing it. Are there any tasks you would like to avoid in your life? And why? Whenever things seem to be too much trouble for you, concentrate on the positive results of your actions for you and for others. Your internal learning and growing process is the most important outcome, more important than that which you achieve by your actions. Remember this always, and have it in mind, that with every task that comes my way, comes also the energy needed to accomplish it. I think this is going to be a particularly good month for you. Well done, Scorpio. Good job. That's the way it is for you this month. Gee, I'm a bit exhausted after that. I don't know how you feel. That was great. I really, it's kind of draining though, isn't it, this business? I really enjoyed doing that for you, and I'm glad that you were able to participate along with me. It's been great to do it with you, and I'm looking forward to more in the future. But until that time, remember this, and remember one thing only, and it is that you are a legend. And I look forward to seeing you again next month. Until then, it's bye for now.